An AEW star gets an odd role change. Rhea Ripley's WWE return, my review of Monday Night Raw, and more. I'm Luke Owen and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
2019 is the year of contracts, and it's not just WWE that have them coming up. This year has already seen Jake Hager not have his deal renewed by AEW, and there's reports that Pentagon Jr.'s deal is coming up in the summer and he's considering a WWE move. There was also the release of Matt and Jeff Hardy, who definitely didn't have any controversial moments in All Elite Wrestling. Which is why when it was spotted by fans that Satnam Singh was removed from the AEW roster page, alarm bells started to ring. Satnam first showed up in AEW in 2022 as part of Jarrett's Team TNA group, and he's had around about 20 matches in AEW. 5 of which were in the last couple of months, where he faced Bryan Danielson not once, but twice. You know, for the sickos. So it's very surprising that while Satnam Singh was removed from the AEW roster page as a wrestler, he was added to the commentary section with a new render of him wearing a suit. Look at him there, nestled between Renee and Taz. Wonder what that conversation sounds like. While there's been no word publicly or behind the scenes as to why this has happened, it seems that Satnam Singh is no longer a wrestler and is now going to be a commentator. Speaking of potential new additions to the AEW broadcast team, and on Saturday, WWE's Kayla Braxton announced that she would be leaving the company after 8 years as of this past Friday's SmackDown. In fact, Braxton technically had already left WWE, as Fightful Select report that her WWE deal was already up and she was just working with the company on a verbal agreement. This means that technically, she could show up wherever she wants, somewhere like All Elite Wrestling. And that's something that Dave Meltzer claimed was potentially the case on Wrestling Observer Radio. But it appears that Uncle Dave was off the mark on this one. As Braxton herself announced on Twitter, I did want to make one thing clear as I enter my final week in WWE. If I wanted to keep working in wrestling, I wouldn't be walking away from the largest wrestling company in the world. Nice try, Rumor Weeds! Hey, I've been trying to work out, thank you very much. We can't all be buff like you, Kayla Braxton! Sorry? Oh, she wasn't talking about me. No, she was talking about Dave Meltzer, yeah. Okay. Sorry, Kayla. Well, that seems fairly definitive, doesn't it? I wonder if there was another reason. Well, it turns out there was, and it's probably the most important reason. She doesn't want to be near RJ City. This is, of course, all in jest, because the wrestling war is real for everyone, but fun for all the wrestlers involved, and RJ City replied to Fightful's reporting of this news, calling Braxton cringe. Speaking of creeps, the WWE Women's World Champion has certainly been creeping on poor Dominic Mysterio as of late, hasn't she? Thankfully for Liv, Rhea Ripley is still out with a shoulder injury. For now, but it may not be long before we see her return, according to a new report from Fightful Select. Fightful notes that there is currently no concrete plan or timeline for Ripley's return. However, much like CM Punk, the company are seemingly crossing all of their digits that she could be back in time for SummerSlam. Unlike Punk, Ripley hasn't been on TV since falling to her injury, but the internal feeling is that she can be slotted straight back into the title picture when she's back. Sean Ross Sapp adds that there are currently no creative plans for Rhea, only that there was a hope that she could appear on screen in some capacity ahead of SummerSlam if all went well. How would you like to see Rhea Ripley make her return? Let me know in the comments down below, but before we get into the Raw review, and you're doing that, here's a clip from the most recent episode of TLC, where we counted down the worst wrestling stipulations.
And your ideas that we came up with today in this room, all of them were better than the actual idea they did, but they had barriers. Barriers! Even just a man with a gun would have been better than nothing. And he says, like, I might use it. He doesn't. So he kind of almost shooting people, but he just says, I might use it. And then he got trepidation at least.
And now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka Gable's Alive edition of Monday Night Raw. In about 5 minutes. The show opened with the sad news that Pat McAfee won't be on commentary this week, boo-hoo, for reasons. And he was replaced by The Miz. Was there literally nobody else? Drew McIntyre came out for a promo on CM Punk and revealed that not only did he take his dignity on SmackDown, he also took his friendship bracelet that had the name of his wife and dog Larry. Kenny Omega saved that dog, Drew. You show him some respect. Drew announced that he'll enter Money in the Bank and they'll cash in on the same night. Now, I've been pushing the idea that Drew should win Money in the Bank and cash in on Gunther following SummerSlam, as it would really play into his hypocritical character. But I think the more likely outcome now is that Punk costs him either his spot in the match next week, he's taking on Ilya Dragunov and Sheamus, or he'll cost him the match at Money in the Bank to build to their SummerSlam encounter. Either way, this is my favourite story on Raw currently. Speaking of favourite things on Raw, Braun Breaker and Ludwig Kaiser were having an awesome and physical match, which really showed off how great Braun is, while putting over Kaiser as more than just the guy that holds Gunther's coat. But this is a three-way feud, so you know what that means. A DQ finish. Am I the only one that sees the pattern here? Braun went to see Adam Pearce and demanded a shot against Sami Zayn, which the champ himself pitched, and the match will take place at Money in the Bank. Good luck, Sami. Judgment Day were playing WWE 2K24 in their Judgment Den, but the main game, not the superior MyGM mode, and Dom got sent a saucy picture from Liv Morgan, which Carlito thought was cool. Dom said he'll sort this out tonight, and Priest told the rest of the group to sort out Braun Strowman, which I think he's done every week since Braun Strowman came back. Lyra Valkyria qualified for Money in the Bank by beating Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler in a match that was basically all third act. Liv Morgan came out for a promo to speak with Daddy Dom. I'm sorry that you had to hear me say that, saying that he was just playing hard to get. Dom didn't come out, but Zelina Vega did to stake her claim to a shot at Liv's world title because she won a match last summer, and called Dom's Rhea's sloppy seconds. Dom came out to his usual nuclear heat, which meant that he struggled to get his story-based promo about Morgan and Vega, and the segment sort of fell apart a bit. The outcome was that Vega brawled with Morgan and Rey Mysterio made the save, and Dom pushed him over because he's a deadbeat dad. Dom will face Rey, and Vega will get her shot at the Women's World Championship on next week's Raw. Backstage, Dom told Liv to stay away, but she helped Judgment Day out by tricking R-Truth into giving Finn and JD McDonough a shot at the tag titles in the main event. Good news, everyone! Chad Gable is alive and well, and the rumours of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. 'Twas a mere flesh wound. He's Chad Gable, and he cannot be killed. He cannot be bargained with. He cannot be reasoned with. He doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and he absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead. Or he wins Money in the Bank. And he'll have his chance to do that as he beat Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman in a three-way when the Judgment Day attacked Braun. The lights went out and smoke filled the ring, very realistic, and Nikki/Abby gave Michael Cole a VHS for him to play. And because this isn't 1999 and Cole isn't a hipster like me, they had to try and find an old VHS player to play it. Chad tried to make peace with Otis and suggested putting the band back together, but Otis's feelings were too hurt last week, and he said no. Maxine wants to play Peacekeeper, but she might be too late, as Chad has a new Maxine Tozawa and Otis now in the form of the Creeds and Ivy Nile. What is the opposite of ordering something from Wish.com? Is it WrestleShop, where you can buy this awesome t-shirt that I'm currently wearing? Unholy Union beat the Party Girls in a couple of minutes, and they were attacked by Damage Control, and Sky laid both champs out with the Over the Moonsault. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. Look, I'm getting too much heat in the comments from younger viewers who think that I'm a typical millennial going on about Limp Bizkit lyrics. And the reason for that is, well, they don't care about my generation. So I won't do it. I don't give a fluff. And I won't ever give a fluff until you, yeah, you comments, give a fluff about me and my generation. Priest nearly walked in on Liv giving Finn a handy. He also came out for a promo with Seth Rollins where he laid out the stipulation that if Priest wins, Rollins can never challenge for the world title while Priest is champ, but if Seth wins, Damian has to leave the Judgment Day. I like this dip as it adds some real intrigue to the match, but it ultimately doesn't matter because whoever wins will fall to Gunther because he should have all the belts. And then we got the VHS from the Wyatt Six. It was a sit-down interview with Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas, and he cut an incredible promo about the death of Bray and how it has affected him. How after years and years in separate factions, they were finally in the same group together, and all of that was taken from him. He can't let the people forget what Bray stood for. He can't let the world forget about him or Bray's legacy. And last week, he made us remember. This is one of those wrestling promos where you can't take your eyes off the screen. Completely captivating and brilliantly executed. You can go watch Ollie Davis give his live reaction to this promo by clicking on the card above my head. It's also linked to in the video description down below. And you should really go and watch this for yourself because it was awesome. Karrion Kross beat Kofi Kingston as Kofi was distracted by Woods being beaten up by the Final Testament backstage, and Awesome Truth defended the tag titles against Judgment Day in the main event. Everyone came down for this one. Liv, Dom, Carlito, Braun, and in the end, Liv necked Truth on the top rope, and Finn hit the coup de grace for the win for the tag titles. Celebrate good times, come on! Last week's incredible episode needed a strong follow-up, and while I don't think this was a 5 out of 5 fire episode, it was so much better than the post-Mania slump episodes of Raw we were getting. The in-ring action played second to the story work, but that was really good. We got a title change that was much needed, and that incredible Bo promo. This week's Raw is 4 out of 5. Now go and watch that episode of TLC right now.